Just thank any and every person there who has prayed for me and prayed for my son and prayed for my family. I thank you for your prayers, and I thank you for your faith in us. And I'd also just like to say that I'm not the only one who's lost a child. I'm not the only one who's lost a son. And that is a problem for us. It's a problem that, as far as I'm concerned, I know a lot more people who have died from gunshot wounds than I know who have died from lung cancer. I am very, very upset that we are dying at the rate that we are dying at because we can't handle our anger towards each other. Really, those are the things that I would just more like to speak to.
I want to pick up on that very thought. Give me 30 seconds, and I promise I'll come right back to that. I want to pick up on the thought that you just put forth about the crime in this particular generation. Many people see this generation of young black folks as a generation that is self-destructing. And I want to ask you a question about that in 1 second, if you'll indulge me one brief moment here to ask you whether or not, I shouldn't say whether or not, or well, I'll leave it at that. Are you at all bothered by the fact that there hasn't been much new evidence, there hasn't been much cooperation in solving this crime of who killed your son over the last year?
I am bothered by the fact that there are thousands of young black children who have been murdered in this country, and no one is trying to find the murderers of any of those children.
Okay.
Do you understand? It's systemic.
Oh, yeah.
These are systemic issues and problems. Tupac Amaru should be at least an indication that it happens throughout our community. Tupac was killed in September. In November, Yafeo was killed. In January, a woman that I know had a child, Giovanna, was murdered. Everybody that I know has someone in their family or in their immediate area who's been killed. And this is an issue that doesn't just have to do with finding, if you find tomorrow the killer of Tupac, it will not solve these problems for all of us. And it's all of us that we have to be concerned about, not just one person. And let me just say that for all of you, Tupac Amaru lived his life. Don't worry about Tupac. May we please worry to some extent about the children who are left here and are in danger right now, today. I am concerned about them.
That's right. That point is well taken. Let me follow up on that as I promised and get your comments a little further then. There are many people who suggest that the death of Tupac and the death of Biggie Smalls are indicative of a generation that is, in fact, self-destructing. What are your thoughts about whether or not we are witnessing a generation of young black kids self-destructing in front of our eyes?
Good question. I myself believe that it is a generation of a family self-destructing. I am unclear how we can separate our children from ourselves. Our children are not self-destructing. We are self-destructing. The responsibility is primarily ours. It is our children's, but it is mostly ours, and we have to take responsibility for it. It's not just a portion of our family that is dying. Our family is dying.
Afeni, I want to bring in just a moment our other guest, who you know, obviously, Atonn, and your nephew, Kenny, down in Atlanta. Before I do that, let me squeeze in a couple calls. As you know, we're, of course, live across the country. A lot of folks want to talk to you. Let me go to Paul in North Carolina. Paul, thanks for holding. You're on BET tonight with Afeni Shakur.
Yes, sir. Peace to you, Brother Smiley, and peace to you, Sister Shakur, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Just wanted to see what steps you would suggest in combining or bringing together the so-called hip-hop generation and the true warriors from the 60s and 70s, like yourself and Brother Geronimo Jajaga. I know that one thing we're doing, my organization, the Amani organization, the Inspiring Men to Act Against Negative Influences in Durham, North Carolina, we're having a hip-hop conference later on this week, but I want to know what specific things we should address in that conference. And if you could just give us some words of wisdom, we'd appreciate it. Peace be unto you.
Peace and respect, brother. Really, I appreciate what you all are doing. And I'd just like to say that I believe that across this country, people are doing many things like that that is helping our community in that effort. So I would just encourage, people wherever they are to continue to do the work that they are doing on a one-to-one, day-to-day basis with our families. And wherever work is being done, and it's being done intergenerationally, for me, I believe that that is where we have hope. And I am not a leader. I do not have a roadmap for people. What I really do have is my sincere, heartfelt, I will share anything I have to try to help in the work that you are doing. I think that all of us have something to offer, and that's the whole point. As a family, we can get through this, and if we encourage this brother's work, if we encourage the work of the Day of Atonement and all of the little organizations, imagine all of the groups of people who are participating in this day, those people in their communities, they are doing work. You know,
Afeni, I hate to cut you off. I got to take a break here.
Okay.
Stand by a second. As you can see, we are pleased tonight to be joined by the mother of Tupac Shakur, Afeni Shakur. We have other guests who we'll get to in just a second. More of your phone calls. You're watching the premiere edition of BET Tonight. Stay with us.
As far as, like, you know, the negativity, yeah, I mean, we've seen, I think, about enough of that, and I think that goes for even certain characters who, portray that lifestyle and those lyrics. I mean, we just lost two of the greatest individuals in the culture, and I think that, that put a blow to everybody. So hopefully that sends a message more to us than anything else that, okay, the fun is fun, but that's it,
Tupac, it seems it's all the so many those fans of Tupac we've referenced so many times tonight, who are still upset, still bothered by this. What role, what suggestion do you give to them for how they ought to express, to vent, to put that anger and that angst, certainly 1 year later, some kind of positive outcome?
Well, first and foremost, we're going to have a conference to deal with those particular issues facing the young brothers and sisters in the hip-hop world, especially some of the traumas that's going on with the entertainers who have been robbed by the industry itself and who have created the machinations that have allowed these particular images to be portrayed to the youth and to be put out in a way that has allowed us to react other than ourselves. Now, the participation, that's going to take place at D.C. Armory October 12th. The participation that we want the brothers and sisters to do is to come out, support the event October the 13th, which is the commemoration for the World Day of Atonement, which the theme is Young, Gifted, and Atone, so they can begin to atone their differences, find new ways of how to deal with their particular situations. And we're calling on the rappers to come out and support this event heavily, and that they all make an appearance to show the world that they are not these beasts that are marketed to the world. They're not the enemies of black people, but they are friends of black people, and that their messages can be used for the benefit and betterment of our people.
On that note, we will break. Atonn, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, Brother Muhammad.
Thank you.
Kenny, thanks for coming on. Good to see you, man.
Thank you.
We appreciate you taking time to talk to us.
Peace. One love, Afeni.
Thanks to Afeni Shakur, I should say, also, who had to leave. We thank Ms. Shakur for taking the time to talk to us on what must be clearly a very...
Just thank any and every person there who has prayed for me and prayed for my son and prayed for my family. I thank you